Hey everyone, today I wanted to go ahead and go over something that I created to kind of make your guys' lives easier. This is a follow-up to my last video where I was showing how to install Trilium into your home cluster. This is actually just a Helm chart that I devised that does the exact same thing, but in one easy step instead of 4 or 5 steps that it was before. And this one also includes some optional things like a cron job that has backups that run and a bunch of additional options to make your life a little bit easier. So yeah, today what we're going to be doing is just a few different things. I'm going to be showing how to actually install and run this on your machine. And you can see here, I have it deployed on GitLab and GitHub. So there's 2 different repos that we could use. I recommend using the GitHub one. It's more reliable. I don't plan on taking out my GitLab server, but in case it ever comes down, you don't have to worry about that. You should still be able to pull from GitHub. And on top of that, if you have any additions you want to do, if you could just make a pull request in the GitHub, that would be perfect for this. I'll merge it over from GitHub, or the pull request from GitHub into the other one. So I want to be able to provide options and also have some ability for the community to be able to support this in the future. There's not too much going on here, and I can kind of just jump into it. The way this works is that there's a subchart that is named Trilium, and this is essentially just the instance of the Trilium Docker container plus a config map of the environment variables that need to be set up. And then on top of that, just like a service and a persistent volume claim that's optional. So this guy's optional. The deployment isn't, neither is the service. Like those are required, but that's what the subchart is. The reason why this is a subchart that exists only in the overarching OAuth 2 is because there's other subcharts that are out there, like the one we used previously to just get it installed in a Kubernetes cluster. So I didn't use that one because to me it makes more sense to keep it all self-contained in case that one were to update or go down. At least I still have access to it, and there's not too much to it, right? And then if we look at the template, or what this Helm chart is actually doing, is that it's setting up the ingresses like we did in the last episode. Also, it's setting up an issuer, which I also did last episode, but again, this is optional. You might not need to do this. Plus, it sets up a Cloudflare API secret. This one is also optional. It's very particular to me because I use Cloudflare. It might not be particular to you, but being that this is for me, that's why this exists. And then a cron job to actually do a cron job and an RBAC to actually do the backups for Trilium. So like this will connect through SSH into a different place that you want to set up for your data. That way you have a backup in case your Helm chart or your cluster goes down. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up all of this here, and that's kind of what this is encompassing and what it's going to provide you. And then the next steps that we're going to be doing is actually installing this into our cluster under notes 2. So you can see here, this is my notes.johnnydeets. We're going to be making one for notes 2.johnnydeets, which I believe I did previously. And you can see here, I have it exposed already. That's what this Cloudflare was kind of proving. I actually don't want to show that. Okay, so to create the repository for this, we're going to hit create. We're going to give it a name. In this case, I'm going to name it Trilium GitHub because I already have the GitLab instance for me. And then we're going to hit OCI repository. And I just double checked to make sure this actually worked. That's why I have this other stuff open. If I come here, you can see this is the URL. We're going to copy this, paste it. We're not going to use that specific tag. We're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to put OCI : / just like that. And this should then be able to find it. You can see in progress. It finds it and it uses it. So cool. This is now working. I'm actually going to disable the GitLab version of it, so you guys don't have to worry about that. And then if I hit charts, you can see here Trilium GitLab or GitHub is here. All right, I just wanted to make sure. It just takes a little bit for it actually to show up. Now we're gonna hit the secure Trilium stack, and we are going to install it. I'm gonna install this in a new namespace. It's gonna be called Trilium Test. We're gonna customize the name beforehand, the Helm chart beforehand. And if we hit values, then you can kind of see everything that it gives you. Pretty cool stuff. It's pretty encompassing on everything already. And again, you don't have to go and update anything individually. You just have to install this and you should have everything. So let's actually work our way through this. At the very top, you can see we have our backup. This is that cron job. You can tell it how often to run. Now, the way that this backup is working is that it's just copying the files that are in Trilium. So if I actually go to this instance, yeah, you have to go into backup, and then in here you can kind of see that all of these backups are happening daily, weekly, monthly, and then you can hit backup now and it will just create one at this instant. So the way that cron job is working is that it is then copying these files. It's copying essentially all of these, the folder and files. That way it's backing up the backup that Trilium already gives us. That being said, it doesn't make sense to back up more than daily. And that's what this is saying. So this is saying, hey, at 3 a.m., back up daily. And that's what's happening, right? And then you have your file name, your SSH secret name. This stuff needs to be set up prior. Just as you have to set up your host, you also have to set up a SSH key to actually be able to connect to the remote that you're going to be connecting to. So yeah, just make sure you have all of this set up. I'll go more in depth on how to set this up later. I'm not going to do that in today's video. Along with this, we're going to have our email. This is for a few different things. The ingresses specifically, also the ingester, and yeah, anywhere that an email is provided, you just want to update this with your email. And then down here, you can see the ingress. So we're actually going to be using two separate ingresses, and you kind of see that. The OAuth ingress is just as that is, it's the OAuth ingress, right? And then the ingress up here is the two different ones that go to Trilium. One of them is public, one of them is private. And this annotations, this is being shared to both the public and private ingresses. This guy is shared between them, and so is the host and the TOS. So yeah, and in this case, you can only provide one host. For now, I'm just gonna do notes to johnnydeets.com, right? In here, you also have the option to turn on and off your issuer. And in this case, I'm going to leave them on, and I'm going to leave is staging. If you're not using Cert Manager, this will not work. So keep that in mind. And if we continue, the OIDC in my instance is Johnny Deets. That's the next thing that we're going to have to update. This will have to get the client ID, client secret, and then a random string of 32 bytes. And then right here, we're going to name this johnnydeets.com. Scopes are the same. You shouldn't have to update any of the other things other than the redirect URL and the OIDC issuer URL. Down here, we have another ingresser that this guy is, in this case, going to the OAuth 2. So I need the same annotation for that. You can provide, this annotations is only for that OAuth 2 since this is a subchart of the OAuth 2 proxy. And you can see here, we can actually customize multiple hosts. Can't do that on the other one. Could it be an addition later on? Probably, but for now, I didn't need it, so I didn't do it. And if we continue, just have to update and change your domain pretty much wherever you need. Then down here, you can see no authentication true, no backup false. That way the backups are still existing. And then the persistence. And this is saying, hey, if you have an existing claim, use that. Storage class, if it's not provided, it should use the default. And then the service for Trilium is just the standard service. And then right here, this is saying, hey, you're gonna pull the specific tag. You should be able to set this to nothing, and it will just pull the latest. And that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. But if we hit next and install, if you would like to view its progress and whatnot, make sure everything's actually running correctly. That's GitLab. I was concerned. If we check here, he is now running perfectly fine. So he's happy. Then there you go. I'm assuming if I click back, boom, you get your notes to pop out. And yeah, it just says some context, some troubleshooting, essentially the goal of this and some of the values. It's basically just pulling my readme for the notes. And yeah, that's pretty much it, right? And just like that, if I come over here on notes 2 and hit refresh, you can see I failed. And the reason why I failed, because I didn't actually create the GitLab OAuth 2 connection. So let's do that real quick. This should go really fast. I just don't want to have to retype this out. So let me do this. So the redirect URI, that is going to be notes 2 Johnny Dietz /OAuth 2 /callback, confidential, email, profile, and open ID. That should be all I need. And then we can hit save application, copy this. And if we come back here, even though it says success, it can't exactly check that you updated. I mean, I guess I could make a test for it, but you should definitely update the thing that says change this value. So the client ID in my instance is this. The client secret is this value right here. I don't mind sharing this because I'm gonna end up deleting it. I'm surprised the cookie secret didn't get angry. And then just like that, I've updated this to actually use these guys. The Cloudflare token can just be angry here. I actually don't mind this. Actually, I'm gonna update him as well. So I'm gonna hit next and you're not gonna see this part. With this, it should update perfectly fine. Should update very quickly too and give me the output that it's done updating. There it is, very quick. And now if I go to this GitLab instance and press enter, I'm just on a bad page. So let me actually go back to notes 2, hit authorize. Boom, we have our Trilium notes set up. So you're just gonna select the first one there. And yeah, just like that, we have everything set up. You can even see it has a certificate. It has all the ingresses set up, including the shared one. So now if I click on this and if I hit basic properties, I hit shared, click on this, this is now exposed to the public internet. But then again, if I just go to the website, I have to log in through GitLab. So you get all the benefits that you need. Everything is set up very quickly. No more having to trudge through those 5 steps, 6 steps. Now it's just essentially a one-click install. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up everything for this, other than the backup, which I can show how to do. The README kind of goes over on how to set him up and actually creating the file correctly. Oh, this is still saying ID RSA. I'm not actually using that in my instance. But yeah, this kind of shows up how to create it for you. If I actually go to my secrets, so right here, this is, I don't know why the domain name says that. I actually have no idea. But this guy, he is the SSH, he's the private key. And in him, the way he's set up, I thought was pretty interesting. The way I had to do it. I'm just gonna click it. But you have to like essentially provide the ID here, and then you can't really see this, but then you have to put the private key right below it. A little weird, but that's kind of, I think this is the key value pair for SSH. And yeah, once you do that, it should be able to actually connect to your cluster. If I go in here and go to this, you can see in here kind of how the backups are working. You can see every single day now since I started it, it's saving a new essentially zip file of the backups. If I open this up, it's essentially just all the folders all the way down plus just the backups. It could be, I guess, more granular in how it's backing up, but this is fine, right? Saving a couple layers of folders doesn't really matter. And then if you actually want to back up, you can just pull this data over. It might be a little more involved to actually use a backup, but at least you have the backups stored somewhere else, and that's kind of the goal of this. And that pretty much wraps everything up. Yeah, that's everything. If you guys would like to contribute, again, please just make a pull request here or leave an issue on this if you find some issues in it. But leave a pull request if you have some suggestions or you want to make some changes to this Helm chart to make it better. I know it can always be better. Don't be afraid to fork it. It's fully, MIT licensed. I have no issues with that. And yeah, it's some cool stuff. So please let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, leave them down below in YouTube. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to keep making videos like this. The next big thing that I'm going to be doing is making a Helm chart for KeePass, because personally I use KeePass. I think it's really useful. I want to see if I can get it running in the Kubernetes cluster using the same backup way that I am currently, and then also have it to where I can use it on my phone very easily. So kind of some goals there. Might have it publicly accessible through OAuth, probably not, but we'll see. But yeah, that's the next steps. If you would like to see that, please consider subscribing. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.